Good morning, friends. Welcome to another section of With All Your Rights. Attorney Cobo-Estrella here to try to help you, educate you a little bit about the legal profession here in Puerto Rico. Today we're going to talk about the Federal District Court for the District of Puerto Rico. Now, Puerto Rico has a Federal District Court that deals specifically with specific causes of action where there might be federal jurisdiction. The Federal District Court for the District of Puerto Rico also includes the Federal District Court Bankruptcy Court in Puerto Rico as well. As you know, this bankruptcy matter is it's an area where only federal law predominates the field. So therefore, there's very little state law concerning or bankruptcy procedures dealing with state court. Everything at the federal level. So important. What are some of the things that you might have at the federal district court? Obviously, the criminal aspect. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm a civil trial attorney, so I'm going to focus on that part. Primarily, you may have, in the federal district court, you may have causes of action which may involve different parties from different states. So you may have what's called diversity jurisdiction. Now, if the amount in question and dispute it's over $75,000 and it's between citizens of different states, including Puerto Rico as a state for purposes of the law, then there might be jurisdiction. The case might be heard in the Federal District Court for the District of Puerto Rico. If the federal government, the U.S. government, is a defendant or a party to the case might be heard in the Federal District Court for the District of Puerto Rico. Also, if the cause of action arises out of a federal law or arises out of the Constitution, perhaps violation of constitutional rights or civil rights, then you may be entitled to have a right to your day in court in federal court. Now, one of the benefits of the federal district court, as opposed to the state court in Puerto Rico, for civil matters, is that it's the only way a U.S. citizen in Puerto Rico could have a right to a jury trial in a civil case. There is no jury trial at the civil matters in state court. So this is one of the reasons why a lot of Puerto Rico citizens, prefer to go to federal court when they're dealing with tort cases or cases that involve violation of their rights, because they may have the opportunity to have the day in court and have a jury of their peers listen to their case. Now, important, what are some of the remedies that somebody might seek when they go to federal court? Well, they may seek a declaratory judgment to determine who was right and who was at fault, and if there was a violation of the law. They may ask for an injunction to stop something from continuing to happen. They may ask for compensatory damages, which may include also another addition, which would be punitive damages, which you may have the right to in federal court, depending if the defendant acted willful, intentional disregard of your constitution or your rights. Well, you may not have that right to ask for punitive damages in state court. Now, how does the federal district court work? Well, the facts and the law are heard at the federal district court. But you can have a bench trial or you can have a jury trial. The opinion and the court issues an opinion and a judgment. The case is decided at the district level. Now, the First Circuit Court of Appeals in Boston is the circuit court that you would take your case on appeal if you are not happy with the outcome of your case at the district court. Now, what the circuit court might do is look over the facts, look over the procedures and the law, and see if the district court judge made an error to determine whether there was an error of law. So your case is either won or lost at the district level. You have this option afterwards, if you're not happy with the outcome, to appeal your case to the First Circuit Court of Appeals. And if you're not happy with the outcome of the First Circuit Court of Appeal, the ultimate court of the land, the U.S. Supreme Court. I'm admitted to all. The Federal District Court of Puerto Rico, the First Circuit Court of Appeal, and the U.S. Supreme Court. It's a long way. It's a very complex process. Most people, you could do this process, but it's not recommended. Most people are best to hire an attorney to help them with the process, because there are specific rules that apply in federal court. You have the local rules that apply at the district level. You have the federal rules of civil procedures. You have the federal rules of evidence. And in a criminal case, you might have also the federal rules of criminal procedures. Obviously, federal trial attorneys are experienced in these areas of law, and they're helpful to you in this situation. Now, not every lawyer admitted to the state court in Puerto Rico or the Puerto Rico Supreme Court automatically practice in the federal court. Puerto Rico, to practice in the Federal Courts District Court of Puerto Rico, you have to admit it to the federal bar, which in Puerto Rico requires you to take a separate bar exam. So lawyers who practice in the Federal District Court of Puerto Rico are required to take this other exam after the state bar exam to be able to practice in the Federal District Court of Puerto Rico. Now, the reason why I bring this to you is if you are a citizen of Puerto Rico, or you're residing in Puerto Rico, and you may feel that you may have a cause of action that may be heard in federal court, not automatically all the lawyers admitted to practice in Puerto Rico, may litigate your case all the way up to the federal court in Puerto Rico, the Federal District Court. So make sure you understand the facts and maybe check your opinion with your lawyers, the lawyers that you seek, and see if they're admitted to the federal practice, if they're able to help you, because it may be the only way you may have a right to a jury trial in the state level, at the Federal District Court, whereas you may not have a right to a jury trial in a civil matter in the state court system in Puerto Rico. Consult with your federal trial attorney, check with them, see if you have a cause of action. Some of the cases that we see here at my office are civil rights violations, violations of due process, situations people might have with different federal agencies that have presence in Puerto Rico, federal employment discrimination cases, and obviously violations of federal laws in the employment, retaliation, discrimination because of age, disability. We also see equal pay violations when there is a violation of Title VII as well, discrimination between men and women in the workplace. So there are various different situations that may give rise to a cause of action where you may have a right to go to federal court. It arises out of a federal law, specifically federal law. Us federal trial attorneys are experienced, and we know the law. We continue to study the law every day, and we can ascertain, when you give us all the facts, whether you have a cause of action which may be heard before the Federal District Court for the District of Puerto Rico. Okay? I hope this information was helpful to you. You have a good day, guys. Take care.